a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is Mitu.
And my name is BJ.
And this week, we're watching Mr. Robot, originally airing on USA Network and now available on Prime Video.
So stay tuned to find out what Mitu's favorite operating system is.
Okay, nerdy question for the nerds who recommended this show.
We gotta stay on brand. In the meantime, how about I describe this show to all our nerds?
Please.
This drama thriller follows Elliot Alderson, played by Rami Malek. He is a young man living in New York City who works as a cybersecurity engineer. But Elliot's thought process is heavily influenced by paranoia and delusion, leading him to connect with people by hacking them. And then we see in this pilot episode that he is recruited by a mysterious anarchist known as Mr. Robot, played by Christian Slater, and he may end up joining a team of hacktivists. So Mitu, what was your first impression of this techie tech show?
Well, first, exactly that. techie type hack the mainframe swordfish. That was my first impression of the show. And then beyond that, I'm not sure if you're in the same YouTube streets as I am, but this show has a lot of narration from Elliot. Some of it to me was additive and interesting. And then some of it, I was like a little tired. And there were things where I was like, I get what's happening. I don't need additional thoughts. And it reminded me of the YouTube video Rami Malek as Kenny in The War at Home being a gay disaster for 11 minutes and 6 seconds.
Whoa.
I looked up the title. That's the real title. Y'all need to watch it. It's very funny. He plays basically a closeted teen. And the narration is like this, where it's constant. It's like, I like girls. And then in the narration, it's like, I do not like girls. I am not attracted to girls. And in fact, I am attracted to this young man, whatever person that he has a crush on. That is the level of obviousness in the narration in Mr. Robot. So perhaps Rami Malek was kind of built for this. There's a part in Mr. Robot where he has his first encounter with this hacker group through code, of course. And they leave a message, and his finger hesitates over engaging further on the keyboard. And it's clear the character is confused about how to go further and is curious about what's happening. And the narration is like, why am I interested in clicking this? Why am I confused? Why am I interested in going further? And it's like, we get it. I understand what's happening, and I do not need further guidance.
I see. I'm not getting the same YouTube recommendations, but I agree about the narration being a little excessive. I feel like they're trying to really compensate for his social awkwardness. We see that he struggles or just kind of lacks interest in talking to a lot of different people. He only has one friend, Angela, played by Portia Doubleday. And outside of that, we just see him essentially commenting on what he thinks about everyone around him and how much he hates society, hates what people are doing, hates everything, hates his own life most of the time. But that is a lot to hear.
Just a constant stream of it. I wrote in my notes, he feels strongly about everything. The points he was making were interesting. The perspective of viewing these issues like corporate greed and wealth distribution and privacy through a tech lens, interesting. And I bet, especially for when the show came out, it must have been really compelling and forward-thinking. And after a few comments, I was like, I think I get it. The other interesting element, though, for the narration is that it shows him as an unreliable lead, and I did like that. We are told essentially at the beginning that we're the imaginary person that he's talking to. So you're already like, uh-oh, this person is maybe not fully stable and has really important tasks to tackle as a person who maybe does not have the fullest or firmest grasp on reality. I also like that the narration shows that he has issues with delusion And so we don't fully understand what we're seeing or fully know if what we're seeing is real. There is a scene toward the end of the show where something big happens, and he basically looks to the camera and is like, are y'all seeing this? Like, is this really happening? Or am I making this up? And you're not sure because of that narration.
Yes. And what I appreciate with the unreliable narration in this particular show is that he's also aware that he sometimes hallucinates. Mm-hmm. There's another scene where he imagines himself finally opening up and venting to his therapist, and then she kind of brings Elliot and us, the viewers, back to reality and is like, are you gonna say anything?
Yeah.
And then he even realizes, oh, I just imagined that conversation. So I like his own awareness of when things kind of spiral out of control.
Yeah, he's telling us, don't trust me. I am not a great person to rely on for a clear view of the world.
But he is good to rely on at work at All Safe Security, because his boss loves him. His best friend / coworker, Angela, she is calling him up whenever anything goes wrong.
I thought that the office scenes were so good. That's where a lot of the comedy came in for me, like Angela calling him when things went wrong. Also, the All Safe client, Evil Core, that CTO or something that they had where he's not knowledgeable but feels strongly about looking smart, so he's nitpicking little things that Angela is saying. That whole scene where he comes in for that meeting was so triggering, because I think a lot of us know this personality well of like, I'm going to add this one little edit or this one little thought, and now I'm the smartest person in the room because I've pointed out this little thing, when you're not even fully grasping what's happening and it's crystal clear to everyone else. So I thought that was a really well acted scene, and it made me laugh, but also made me very upset for Angela. So I liked the office stuff, and I liked the potential for the action scenes to be in the office. I thought that they made coding fun.
It seemed all right, but I did really like the office dynamics specifically. I liked his awkward small talk with his boss. I like the scenes with Angela. There's another coworker, Angela's partner. And I like how we really see his lack of ability to make small talk and socialize with people, while also seeing his running commentary, because the cool / creepy / weird thing that we see over and over is that he hacks people to learn about them. And we see how he uses Facebook posts and likes, email messages, on all of these different things about people's profiles for him to profile them and be like, oh, Ali is this type of person, my therapist is that type of person, all based on what he read on his screen.
Creepy, creepy. And I like that in the real world, let's say, or in his day-to-day life, he gets to know people by hacking them. But in his potential vigilante life with these hackers, he will be forced to get to know them just in person. Because when he has an interaction with the group, the leader, played by Christian Slater, tells him that they don't email each other. They don't text each other so much as emojis.
No phone calls.
No phone calls. Their encryption is the real world, because they cannot afford for anything to come out between them, establishing some kind of like tech connection between them. And so he will be forced to have, should he join this group, IRL interaction to get to know hackers. While conversely, he's hacking people in his day job to get to know them.
That's going to be a rough transition if he has to sit in a room full of people and make small talk.
Yeah, that's going to be really tough for him.
Do you want to watch more episodes of Mr. Robot, originally on USA and now on Prime Video, to see those tough interactions?
I do. I don't think I want to watch again seriously, because it was kind of scary. For my fellow babies, this eventually becomes a thriller, or is billed as a thriller, and I can see the foundation of that in this pilot episode. But it is very intriguing. So I do really want to know what's going on with this hacker group. Does he become part of it? They seem to be really interested in his job. So how are those two things going to come into conflict? You know, sort of staying employed and paying my rent, but also
ultimate struggle.
You know, but I have this interesting force that may not like my day job that I might want to be part of. So I think that's interesting too. And then we didn't quite get into this in our review, but Rami Malek is just really fabulous in this, as well as Christian Slater. Christian Slater is not in much of this first episode, but the scenes that he was in, I was locked in.
I agree with that rating. I would also put this at a would watch again casually. I remember when this came out, but for whatever reason, I just didn't have the time to dive into it. But I really like the cyber security hacker aspect. This definitely is a thriller, and it's intriguing and disturbing how he's hacking some of these people. We talked about how he hacks them to get to know them, but he also hacks some people to blackmail them. And I want to see where that can go, because I'm sure that's just going to get bigger and messier and more risky as the series goes on.
I knew that's the part you'd be interested in. You are so messy.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying, you know, the blackmail piece, I figured that is what you would be interested in.
He's a hacktivist.
He's a hacktivist, exactly.
Hacking for what they believe is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, how about you tell the listeners what is your favorite operating system?
How about you tell the listeners what the operating system is on my laptop? That's my favorite.
Windows, I guess 11 is what you're on?
I love Windows 11. Is that what my laptop is? If so, yes.
I don't know if you're on 10 or if you upgraded to 11.
Listeners, usually BJ handles these things for me, so really this sort of sits in your court.
Okay. Are the icons in the center of your taskbar or over to the left?
Center.
Windows 11.
I know that's right. Exactly.
I still love Mac OS, which you departed from many years ago.
That's true. I did become a PC girl.
Well, if you want to find out what other type of girl Me Too is, you can listen to some of our old reviews on our website at thepilotpodcast.com, and you can follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
If you want to find out what type of girl BJ is, you can follow us at The Pilot Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and X, and you can send thoughts, feelings, show recommendations, or what type of girl you are to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.